Brian, if you want to continue with your questions on the backgrounds.
Yeah, so we are going to get into some of the pre-show topics here. We have a decent amount to get through. Just trying to, a couple no-shows, I'm going to skip that. But I do want to, I kind of actually want, now that you're here, Andrew, I'm kind of want to get into some of our more heated questions, heated conversation topics. So I don't think we'll debate it, but I do actually want to get answers. So we'll do the bear thing. We're not going to really debate it much, but I always like to at least get the answers. So starting with you, would you rather come across a random man or a random bear in the woods?
I'm gonna go man.
I don't even know.
You haven't heard this?
No, I
TikTok
have.
thing?
I've thought about it. I think both can bring danger.
If you had to pick
Well,
one.
like, yeah, if you had to pick one, if there was a button, there was a magic button, and you had to select one. One was bear, one was man. Which one do you think you would press?
I'd probably say bear.
Bear.
Why is that?
I just feel like, it's just like easier to kind of get them to go away.
It's easier to get a bear to go away.
I just feel like men are very unpredictable.
Aren't wild animals unpredictable?
I can predict that the bear is going to kill me.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, y'all, like, I don't know. But if you're going to ask me to choose one, I'm probably going to say bear.
We'll get everybody's answers. Go ahead.
So I picked the bear last time, and I picked the bear this time. I could either move.
That's it. No, that's it. Okay. What about you?
Bear.
Man.
Wait,
Man.
what did you pick last time?
I picked bear. Yeah.
Okay. What do you pick?
I picked the man.
Yeah, random man for sure.
We do need to wait until she's back, the one who's gone from the table, to get her answer. Those of you who said bear, so you said bear, you said
bear. Yeah.
Bear. Why bear?
So I picked bear. So I've noticed, I've done some self-reflection since then and just recently. I've had a lot of negative experiences with men, but it seems like the more positive experiences that I have with men and the more like safety that I feel, I might be inclined to pick the man. And I'm starting to wonder, did I just get bad luck of the draw, like in a sense, like in the past? And that's why my judgment is skewed, because that's the way I choose bear because of that. Is that a safe thing for me to do? Or if some people have really bad things happen to them, should they just kind of look at things as a whole and be like, look, you might have had like 10 bad things happen to you, but things could change. Okay. So I don't know. Yeah.
Why do you pick bear?
Sorry. I think I would pick, I know I would pick the bear just because I'd say both have primal instincts, but overall a bear would be more predictable considering the fact that it is a primal animal and less intelligent than a man. I just feel like
when you say the bear would be more predictable, you mean you could
like the
more
bear,
predictably imagine it attacking you compared to a man?
Well, the bear, say both are like per se hostile, then if the bear is hostile...
That's not the question. You don't know if the random man's hostile. You don't know if the bear's hostile. They could be. They might not be.
Well, if the man's hostile, then...
No.
You're taking the chance.
That's less predictable. I'm saying if you know that, like, say, like, if you're stuck in the forest with a man and a bear, if the bear gets provoked, what's it going to do? Attack you. If the man gets provoked, you don't know what the fuck the man's going to do. So I'm saying the bear, like, you know what it's going to do if it gets provoked.
Let me ask you a question, though. You mentioned provoked. If I put both of the men, like just a random man and a random bear in this situation, I think actually if you provoke a bear versus you provoke like some nerdy gamer guy who would never hurt a fly, like you could even go, like you could probably walk up to a lot of dudes and literally poke them and they would not do anything to you. Do you think you would have that same experience with with bears?
Well, the bear would definitely try to eat you, and you don't know if the random man in the forest is going to be a nerdy gamer.
I would argue you could actually do, I would argue you could actually do this social experiment, and you could actually go out into the street and just approach a random man, and you could even like, like poke him kind of annoyingly. Poke him in the shoulder.
You don't know what they're gonna do.
He can't eat you alive.
Yeah.
can shoot
Well,
you.
here's the thing, though, is, I mean,
But I mean, he's agreeing, right? He's saying, you're right.
Yeah.
You don't know what they'll do, but let us assume for a second that you had 20 men and 20 random bears. If you went and poked the 20 men in the chest like this versus poking 20 bears in the chest like this, which one do you think would be more likely to, I don't know, eat your face?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
You don't
the
know?
bear. No, I
You
mean,
do
no.
know.
Listen, like the bear would be more likely to eat your face, but you don't know if the man like. That's the thing. You don't know like what he has on him. He could have a.
No, I agree.
gun
You
or
don't know. The
something
man
like
could
that.
freak out, right? He could freak out. He could do horrible things. But
The bear would
which
eat
do you-
your face,
Which
and we
one?
know
But
that
which,
for a
but which
fact.
one do you think is more? Which one do you think is more likely to freak out if you walk over and start poking him in the chest? A random man or a random bear?
Well, the bear would definitely eat your face, but you know for a fact that the bear would eat your face. That's
Good point.
predictable. That's what I'm saying. The whole
Good
point
point.
of my entire, I guess, opinion on this factor is that the bear would, in fact, eat your face.
So you'd rather die because it's
so you'd
guaranteed
rather
you're gonna die?
predictably die than
Yeah, like
have a man look at you,
You
like,
guys like
the fuck
aren't
are you doing?
understanding what she's saying.
No,
Well,
we're
no,
well,
understanding.
she's just trying to word it where she wants to hate men so bad,
Or
but it just
per-
doesn't make
well,
sense. When we
perhaps,
try to make it
Wait.
make sense.
Why do I
we do
hate
need to
men?
get her response from this. So the question is, would you rather come across a random man or a random bear in the woods?
Oh. I mean, why are you in the woods as a man? Like,
Okay,
what-
hold on.
What are we doing?
Hold on.
Real.
Because you guys are incapable of engaging with a hypothetical.
No. I'm
So,
going to answer the question,
Here's
but
the
it's
scenario.
just... Okay.
There is no motivation there. You're literally, you press, there's a magic wand,
Yeah.
and a random man in the United States, a totally random man gets dropped into the woods, so do you. And you guys are going to cross paths.
But I'd rather cross,
So it's not
cross
like,
paths
why
with a
is he
man
in the
than a
woods?
bear, to be honest. Because maybe you can help me get the hell out these woods. Like, a bear's not going to be able to help me, but...
Okay, so
that's
in
why
this scenario, you pick...
I'm picking a man, I think.
I have a
But
serious.
I just feel like, if I'm walking through the woods and then I just randomly see a man, I mean, let's run like a walking trail, but if I'm like lost in the woods and there's just a random man in the woods, I'll be kind of creeped out.
It's not really the
I mean,
question.
if you were lost in the woods and you came across a random man in the woods.
Well, I mean,
wouldn't
I'd
you
be
ask
like,
him
I'm
for help?
lost, but I'd be like, what are you doing?
I have a
I guess you're right,
question.
you're
No,
right.
But I mean, wouldn't you
You're
be
right.
like, I'm lost, can you help me?
Yeah, no, you're right, I'd be freaked. I'd be like, not like, what are you doing here? I'd be like, help me.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
help, right? You'd be like, help, I'm lost in these fucking woods, this sucks. Right?
I have a
Oh,
question.
God.
You switched to man, right?
Yeah, I switched to man.
Okay. Andrew, you were going to have a back and forth, I think, with her.
Yeah,
also.
well, I wanted to ask,
with me?
so I just want to make sure, because I think I understand why a lot of women pick the bear. And I think that what you're trying to say is it's due to the predictable nature of bears. They're easier to predict. Men can do much more unpredictable things, and they have kind of the strength and will in order to have more perverse actions than the bear.
Yes.
Okay, so you kind of want us to see it from your angle. So let me ask a counter question so you can see it from our angle. And I'd like an honest answer from everybody. Do you think a man would rather tell his feelings to a woman or a tree?
A tree, probably.
Hang on, going around the table.
Starting with
Would a
you,
man
Brian.
rather tell his feelings to a woman or a tree?
Definitely a woman.
A tree.
A tree.
I feel like it depends on the situation, but I guess a tree.
I feel like he wants to talk to a woman, but he feel like he can't, so he'd rather just go talk to a tree.
I agree.
Good.
A tree. Probably a tree.
Well, then, if the social commentary is that we need to be looking at it from your end, that you perceive men as being kind of unpredictable and dangerous in comparison to this massive wild animal, which is known for, mauling random people, then shouldn't you also take into account and take responsibility on the woman's end for the fact that men can't even talk to you or discuss
absolutely.
with you how we feel about anything and would rather tell it to an inanimate object than you?
Yes, and I have a quick question about that this for the table or whatever. My question is this. How come the idea of 20 men finding them in the forest compared to a bear sounds safer than me with one man? How come that is? I don't
Yeah, but I mean, I could engage with you on it, but why
Yeah.
would I tell you how I felt about it? I'd rather talk to a fucking tree,
man.
right? And this is the whole point. The whole point is that I would rather open up about my feelings to a tree than open up about my feelings to you by your own admission. And yet the social commentary is only one-dimensional, where you say, but well, how come men won't take responsibility for how we feel about them? Well, how come you won't see it from our angle that as we're having this discussion, I would probably prefer to take a random inanimate object, in this case a tree, and open up about my feelings to the tree than you, and you know it's true.
Well, I mean, like,
So,
I also...
I mean, isn't that crazy, though?
That is-
Like, where's the responsibility
crazy,
from
but-
the other direction?
I
Crazy,
admit,
but y'all
I
set
agree,
that
but
up
I
for
also
yourselves.
disagree.
I admit it is a bit outlandish in a sense, because it's like, I mean, I'm thinking if I were to encounter 20 men or a bear, I would feel safer with the 20 men than the one man. I don't know. Maybe is it because you have bad experience with one
Yeah,
man? I never had a
background.
bad experience with 20 men. Is that it? Is that just the bias, like the confirmation?
Well, no. Listen. So what we're looking at is kind of a plural meaning here from the woman's perspective. So I'm taking myself out of my shoes, trying to put myself into the shoes of you. You say, listen, I'd much rather come across a random bear than a man, because I can ascribe all of these motivations onto a random man of things that they could do to me which are sick and twisted and dark and horrible, and I can maybe at least predict a bear. And it's like, men, from the woman's perspective, like, I don't understand why men don't get this.
Donated $200. Only a female could be stupid enough to pick a wild animal that will kill them over a grown man who can save her life. There is a reason no good man wants these women.
Damn. All right,
pretty
Grid One
stereotypical.
Motorsports. There he is, coming in.
Grid One, the legend
man.
himself.
Actually, I do have a point to make.
You a good
about
man?
The,
Imagine being
like
two
the
have a
men
woman.
going up.
So anyway,
wait.
so back to
Just
this, just
before we
real quick,
switch
this
topics.
exchange. What we're looking at is the duality.
I'll get you
here.
in.
Thank you.
If I'm taking myself out of my shoes and I'm putting myself in your shoes, I'm trying to see it from your angle. Because to me, it's insane, right? A woman saying, I'd rather have a random, but I'm going, okay, this is the problem with the social commentary from the female perspective. We're not listening to the women and how they feel about us. But then when I bring up the tree, you kind of instantly are like, yeah, of course a tree, but then don't give a shit, right? You're just like, well, and fuck them. I don't care if they would prefer to talk to a tree.
Can I ask a question?
We have done nothing. We're perfect. If they have to go talk to a tree, that's also men's fault.
Can I ask
Right?
you a question?
Go ahead.
Why do you think men can't express their feelings to women or to anybody, honestly?
Because y'all don't give a fuck.
Yeah, because you don't care and you don't. So the thing
I'd like
is
a
that
like
if
an
you
actually
don't,
like
if you
good
don't,
response.
yeah. So I'm gonna answer your question, right? If you don't give a shit, and you don't, right? And this is why you know that.
No,
speak
not
for-
and
you
we
can't speak for every
don't. Not and we
individual.
don't. Who said we don't give a shit?
You did, because you said that you know that men would rather open up to a tree than
I'm
you.
so sorry, but me
that doesn't
saying
mean
that
that
I know
she- yeah.
men would rather open up to a tree does not mean that I don't give a shit about what a man says. Like,
But
Well,
that she doesn't
then why
want
are
you
they-
to
why
express
would
your
they
feelings to
prefer
her.
to
We
open
just
up
know
to a
you
tree than
prefer
you?
that. Because men
Probably
don't want to be
because of the
nagged.
system
don't
men
wanna-
have
want-
set
wanna
up
take
for
advice from
themselves.
women.
So
Probably
life
because-
is right.
One
It's
at a
men's
time,
fault
let her
that they would
talk.
rather talk to a tree.
Probably because of the system men have set up
Right,
for
so
themselves.
it's men's fault that they would rather talk to a tree. Women have no accountability at all, right?
It actually is.
Yeah,
It
right,
actually is.
exactly. That's the whole point of the duality. The reason we don't give a shit about the absurd fucking answer of women who go, I'd rather fight a bear in the woods. Even though none of you ever experienced a fucking random bear in the woods. You have no idea what
I
that's
have
like. Could be the
experienced a
most
random bear in the
terrifying
woods.
experience
I'm
of
from
your life.
Wisconsin.
You have. What happened with you and the bear in the woods? Tell me. Go ahead, tell me.
it
Give
ran
me a
away.
story about you and the bear in the woods.
I
no,
stood
the other
still
gal who
and it was
I'm in the
predictable and
exchange
it
with.
went away.
Yeah, what happened?
I stood still. I could predict what the bear would do when
Wait,
I would
this
stand
actually
still
happened?
and hide. Yeah.
This actually happened?
Yes.
Where?
I'm from California. I've been to Tahoe multiple of times.
So up in Tahoe, what type of bear came around you?
A black
and you
bear.
just stood still and it walked off.
Yep.
Where?
Because bears, guess what? They're predictable. Men aren't.
No,
I don't know
bears,
what-
especially in Tahoe, are not predictable.
Well-
Especially because they eat human garbage and things like this. People out there feed them. It's a massive problem. They're usually in those areas ultra violent because they have no fear of humans. Totally unpredictable. But the point is that the reason that we don't give a shit about the social commentary on this, we don't care to see it from a woman's perspective. But don't you men understand why it is that you're so dangerous? Is because when I bring up a counterexample of the tree, you go, well, that's also men's fault.
It is. It literally is
Right,
your fault.
it is.
You guys have
It
set up this
literally is.
system for yourselves.
Wait, what system?
What do you mean, what system?
You-
Like
What's the
men
system?
telling
What
their
system?
sons, you know, you can't cry, you can't express this, you can't express that. Be
Facts.
tough. That's y'all set that shit up.
Wait, so hold on. Abigail, you respond, then you have something. Go ahead.
Okay, I would say the reason sons are raised to suck it up is you asked him.
Exactly,
This is
to
just
suck it
hold
up.
up. This is just an example. You asked.
Hold on.
Lol
just one
Paladins
second.
donated
Another
$200.
one of
Maybe the bear was at the funeral.
Could be.
Y'all making some
Okay, go
money.
ahead.
You asked
Thank
him
Paladins.
why he thinks that men would pick the tree. And he answered with the same answer. And you said, okay, give me an actual good answer. So they elaborated on how they feel on the subject, and you started yelling and
I
talking
never
over them.
asked why they think
I
men
wouldn't
would
want to
pick the
share my
tree.
feelings
Here,
with that.
just can you be straight? Just be straight on. No, like be
Oh,
straight
oh,
on.
like, oh.
Turn the microphone. You're hiding behind the mic.
Is
Scoot
that,
it. Scoot it to the
do you
edge.
not want me to
Scoot
be
it. Just
behind the mic?
just scoot it to the edge of the table. Scoot the mic to the edge of the table.
It is like so
Yeah,
close
the
to
reason
edge.
he's asking that from the audience perspective, if your mouth isn't actually close to the mic when you're speaking,
No, I
nobody
hear.
can hear what
I hear
you're
that.
saying.
I hear what
Yeah,
you're saying. I didn't know my mic was far away. I apologize.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it happens all the time because you're in the conversation, and it's easy for people to shift. That's how body language works, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
no,
So
my bad.
yeah, no big
Go
deal.
ahead.
But so if he expressed to Brian here why he would rather talk to a tree than a woman, Brian would understand. I doubt he'd talk over him or say that's not a good enough answer. He expressed those feelings to you. You talked over him. You said it wasn't a good enough answer. But you're also saying you responded that way, and nobody would want to share their feelings with that. That's just objectively true. You responded that way, and you're also blaming men for not wanting to share their feelings with women.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but all they said is they would rather talk to a tree.
And that was just
And
their
they
answer.
said because
You're
women
actually
don't give a-
interrupting me, and you're just talking to me about interrupting you. So.
I'm so glad I'm not dating donated $200. Big stresses that I can only solve must be internalized and dealt with. Saving the stress and worry from a spouse whom looks up to me for guidance and leadership.
Amen.
I'm talking to a fucking tree 100%.
Yo, I'm so glad.
Right.
I'm not, hey, thank you for the TTS, man. Also, Kill of Cereal. Sorry if I was a little tilted earlier. I don't know if you're still watching. It was just kind of a hectic moment, but I'm so glad I'm not dating. Very good to see you.
He was waiting for me to come on and wish me Happy Father's Day. That's all.
I'm not
That's
even
all,
sure.
Killer Cereal.
I'm not even sure if he's still in the chat, but I'm so glad I'm not dating. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Go ahead with your.
I was just saying they told me that they would rather speak to a tree, and they said, "Oh, why is that?" And I just said, "Well, y'all set that system up." That's all I said.
No, actually, the opposite happened. What happened is we asked you, what do you think men would rather do? Open up to a woman or open up to a tree? And you
I said tree.
To a tree. Right, so this was not us juxtaposing a position onto you. This was you rather
And then you
telling
guys
us
agreed
your
that you
position.
would rather talk to a tree.
Right,
And I
why?
said, yeah, and I said,
So
it's,
why?
But-
Why would you
okay,
rather
hold
talk
on,
to a
hold
tree?
on. Can you just straighten up? Here, look, straighten up. Scoot the mic this way. Scoot it to the very edge of the table. Because what you end up doing is you're like hiding behind the microphone. So just speak straight into the
so I
microphone.
have really bad posture.
It's okay. Go ahead.
So yeah, I was just saying, like, why would men rather talk to a tree? Probably because from the age of like 2, they were told that they can't express their emotions. They can't feel this. They can't feel that. They can't cry. They need to toughen up.
Yeah.
that was her
What I'm
answer.
going based off of is when you said, you asked them, why do you guys think men would rather talk to a tree? And they said, because women don't care. And you said, give me an actual good answer. That was both of their ansers, and you didn't like their answer. That was them
Well,
expressing
actually,
how they
I mean,
feel, and you didn't like it.
But
I
why
wouldn't
do you
tell
So
you
I'm
that.
why do
happy
men
to
feel
engage
like
with
women
her,
don't
with her
care?
answer.
Yeah.
I'm happy to engage with her answer because I think it's actually interesting and rather telling, right? It's the man's fault that he would rather do that. But this is the duality that I'm trying to point out. The duality is this. The reason that you think that men are so unpredictable, you don't know what they're going to do, this and that, is precisely because some men cannot control their emotions, because they don't have good impulse control, because they do act out, and when they do act out, they do a lot of damage because of their lack of emotional control. And yet, here you are saying, if only men had less of this emotional control could open up to us, wouldn't that be actually counterproductive to your position of the bear, though?
I think opening up to a part of empathy, like on a level of empathy.
Nick.
I'm willing to challenge my own delusion. I will say this. I'm willing to challenge my.
Hold on. I'm
okay.
sorry.
sorry.
Wasn't this directed at you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you're
Sorry
kind of.
about
I
What
mean,
did you say?
he was directing all
You didn't
these
hear what I said?
towards you.
No.
Oh.
You didn't hear what he was saying?
No.
None of it?
No.
Fix what?
Okay, well then I'll just have the conversation with the person who's listening to what I'm actually saying.
I think you
So
should.
anyway,
That's
back to where we're at.
Wait, you know what? Wait, hold on. I want to tune into something that actually just occurred. Andrew, the thing that you brought up was, do you think a man would rather share his feelings to a woman or a tree?
Yeah.
She wasn't listening to anything.
Right, she wasn't listening
Even
to a
though
word
you've
of it,
been
right? Because she
perfectly
doesn't care,
That's
right?
one
Even-
woman
even
in a
though-
group full of women that you
Even
feel
though
like that
you've been
about.
perfectly respectful, Andrew,
how are you
you've
gonna
been
relate that to
perfectly
everyone?
polite. She intentionally just refused to even hear what you had to say and hear how you felt and hear how you thought about the conversation at hand. She's
just gonna
literally just
say-
proved
But
your
you gotta
point.
understand,
I'm
Brian,
just gonna
that's
say it
also
wasn't
my fault.
intentional.
It's also your fault, Andrew.
I'm just gonna say,
It's
can I
my
say
fault.
you're
Go ahead.
speaking on me, so can I say something?
Go ahead.
It wasn't intentional. I genuinely just spaced out.
He was. You guys. You literally
Right,
asked
which
him a
is
question.
why I would rather share my feelings with a tree. What would be the difference if I had shared my feelings
I've
with
shared
you?
feelings
you had
with
as
men
much of an
before,
emotional
and they've
response as a
spaced out.
tree.
Andrew, dude,
Okay,
I've shared my feelings with men before, and they've spaced out.
Yeah.
Okay, ADHD is a thing, honey. Learn about it.
Can
What
I
is
say
the thing?
something?
I said ADHD is a thing, honey.
I
Learn
wanna
about
say
it.
something.
Hold on.
Well, I mean,
Wait,
so,
wait.
Learn
so-
about
let
it.
you come in
Any
in
gender
just a
can
sec.
have it. Any sex can have it.
Wait,
Okay.
hold
So
on.
it's your
hold on, hold on.
ADHD?
Yes, dude. You
Oh, okay,
space
so-
out. Like, hello.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. My ADHD was going.
Okay,
What
and
were
that's
you saying?
fair. And that's fair.
Okay, couple
Wait,
things here.
what? I'm sorry. I can't pay attention to a word you're saying because my ADHD is going.
That's fair.
But anyway, back to
Wait,
this.
wait.
I gotta ask.
Wait.
I gotta-
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on. Okay, can you just scoot your mic
My
to the edge of the
mouth
table?
is literally an inch away from this microphone.
I don't know. Fix your posture.
I don't want to. My mouth is literally so close to this
No,
microphone.
but I'm saying you can scoot the mic back, and then you move your head back.
But I'd rather just sit like this. Like, I'm more comfortable
All right,
like
whatever.
this.
I'm not going to deal with this right now. Go ahead with your point.
Okay, my point is, it is like in our society, women do find emotional men who talk about their feelings less attractive and less masculine, and so they really don't want to be with them. So men will mask those feelings because women don't want to be with a whiny guy.
Who said
Yep.
that?
I have a
mean,
couple
I think
things
it's
on
a
this whole
society.
vulnerability shit too.
No, but who said that?
It's not what
It's
you
not
say,
like-
it's actions. Women will leave emotional men. They just will. You
Like,
see
who
it.
said that?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it depends
don't
on
think
the woman.
that's
First of
true.
all. I don't think it's a gender thing. Okay, first of all.
I mean, it's pretty observable. It must be by your own standard because you say that men are too stoic.
I can ask a couple clarifying questions on this. First off, men and women tend to try to resolve problems in different ways. Typically, men don't like to talk about our problems. We either want solutions or we're just gonna accept it and move on. Now, I do want to try to look at this from a dating lens here. So when it comes to this vulnerability thing, do you guys, just show of hands, do you prefer a confident guy or a guy, like if a guy's approaching you, do you prefer him to be confident or would you prefer him to be like kind of nervous and shy and shaky? So raise your hand if you prefer confident. Up, raise them high, please.
But the
You
point
prefer
about the mic
confident
is
guys. Okay, so you prefer nervous, shy, shaky
it's
dudes.
just, I don't prefer like honestly anything because like if someone comes up to me, I'm not going to judge them for how they.
I
approach
prefer a
me.
guy
Really?
listening to me.
You're not gonna.
No.
So your confidence is not an attraction trigger for you.
Confidence is attractive, but I've been with someone who I was very happy with. He was
So
a
you don't-
dope guy, and he was emotional. He was.
No,
Oh, sorry.
but you're not. Okay,
What?
if given the option,
You're not telling him what he wants to hear.
Oh, what do you want to hear?
it might genuinely be her answer, but she didn't really like. I don't know if she fully understood the question. So
Maybe not.
would you prefer a guy to step to you in a confident manner, or a guy who's like shaky, a little nervous, eye contact's not great?
I mean,
I
he can
retract
be
that.
nervous.
So
I
if
mean,
he's
that's
if he's
like a-
nervous, does that make him emotional?
Well, we're talking about vulnerability.
I think
here.
that
Does
so
that
I
make
do
him
think that
vulnerable?
would be the
Vulnerable, I don't have
trigger,
an issue
right?
with that.
So if you're looking for confidence or things which you would gauge
think you
as
have to be nervous to
confidence
be
in men, I think that the metrics are somewhat similar between men and women for how they judge confidence, and I think one of those standards is going to be emotional control. So if a person, in other words, if a fire starts in your kitchen and a guy starts running around and screaming just like you do, you would say that that's not a sign of confidence nor competence, right? Yeah, so that would be
But I
this
wouldn't-
kind of lack of emotional control under adversarial conditions seems like that would be tied in with confidence and competence.
Well, I feel like a lack of emotional control doesn't people can have lack of emotional control and completely fake being confident. Like that's.
Yeah, I don't think that has to do with being
hang on.
confident
Yes,
at
that's
all.
true. But what's interesting is that's why when adversarial positions are pushed on them, you start to see whether or not that's a facade or it isn't a facade. That's one of the reasons that women shit test, right? Because they're trying to kind of push that and see if this guy actually is giving you a facade or if it's the real him.
Well, what I've noticed a lot is that you've made a general stereotype about women, just saying woman this, woman that, when you've made an assumption about one woman at the table. Not all of us don't care. Not all of us would rather a man speak to a tree than us. Like, genuinely, like, as me, like, I try to be the best person that I can possibly be. If someone needs to talk to me, I'm not going to judge them for it. If someone walks up to me.
Yeah, but actually the kind of the fallacy here, or fallacious argumentations on your behalf, because what you're doing is taking a generalized statement and saying, but not me, though. But it's not
No, I'm just
mapped.
saying, like,
But you're
personally,
generalizing
Like, we could go
everybody.
around
Hang
everyone
on.
at this table.
It's not mapped to you specifically. So if I say, for instance,
Well, I mean, I
most
feel like we
women, hang on. If I say most women like tall men, and you go, but I don't like tall men, though, that's a non sequitur. It has nothing to do with what I'm saying. It would not change the fact that most women do, even if you don't.
But it does change an opinion.
Well, I'm just saying that not
That
like
you're
every
asking
woman has
for.
the same opinion. Like, I have a different one, she's gonna have a different one, they're gonna have different ones. Like, everyone, like, you can't make a generalized. Sorry, I'm not talking. You can't make really a generalized statement based off of one woman. Like, per se, like, I don't
Yeah,
want
but
a
we're
man.
not, and we're not doing that, though.
Well, you keep saying women this, women that.
Yeah, I know. I'm making a generalized statement based on what we see in observations in society, not that every specific woman follows these same criteria.
You
I'm
are,
sure
though.
that there's plenty of
Honestly,
women
yeah.
who like short guys. I haven't met very many of them, but I'm sure that
They're
out
out there. I mean, it's
but
just
in
a
general,
statistic.
but in general, they don't seem to like short guys.
Was it not a generalized statement when you said women don't care when men speak about their feelings? That's a generalized statement.
That brings
Well,
me.
no, that was applied at the micro, not the macro, because every woman at the table said that they know that men would prefer to talk to a tree rather than
What
men.
does that have to do with a woman
Okay,
caring?
that's what,
to
that
talk
was
to
where
a
I had
tree.
an
That's the
original
issue
point.
right there.
That's society's norms. That's not. It can be gender-based, but it also
So
can't.
your objection to you object to generalizations? Is that your point?
It not necessarily. I would say that some men would prefer to talk to a tree, but that's just because of society. That's not because of women or men. It's not like a gender. It's not because of gender. That's because of
What?
how society has trained them to think. Like, I would rather talk to a tree than anyone. It's not a thing about gender. It's just like comfortability, because like
If that's
opening up is
true,
scary.
I think we can
Yeah,
test
being
and see if
vulnerable to
that's true
anybody's
by
scary.
asking a
That's not
follow-up
unattractive.
question.
Is my point.
Let's just
One of
ask
my
a basic
points.
follow-up question. Do you think that men are more likely to open up to their feelings to women or to other men?
Probably to other men.
Honestly, it depends on the type, because I feel like with my
Just
guy
in
friends-
general,
Everything depends.
Well, it depends, because you talk about different stuff with like.
Well, yeah,
girlfriends and
because the
girlfriends.
world isn't black and white, dude.
I
There's
didn't say
layers
it was,
to everything.
dude.
There's generalizations you can
There's
make.
layers to everything.
I have a comment.
I agree. There's layers to everything. But if we were to say that 51% would be most and 49% would be not most, would you say that most men would prefer to talk to other men about their feelings or would prefer to talk to women about their feelings?
From what I've noticed, actually, women, like most of my guy friends
Women.
at least, they've talked about it, and I've talked about this with my parents as well, including my dad and my stepdad, and they're like, oh, like, there's just women and men have a different relationship. So if you're
Then why in the world would you take the position that they would rather talk to a tree about their feelings than you if you think most of them would prefer to talk to women over men? That makes no
first it
sense.
was-
It's absurd.
Because first it was trees and men, and now it's women and men. So what are we talking about?
Yeah,
Trees
yeah,
and
but
men or
if your
women and men?
position is, do you think that a man would rather talk to a tree about their feelings than talk to a woman?
I think that
Right?
unless they-
That's
I
what
feel
your
like-
actual position is. Then why then would you say that you think that men would prefer to talk to women about their feelings?
I feel like anyone
over
would rather
men?
talk to a tree than another human being. It's easier to open up, honestly.
You think so? Okay, so I see. So you think that all people would rather talk to a tree
Not
about
all
their
people,
feelings?
but like coming from, I don't know, everyone here, I don't know, would you guys rather open up to someone or like talk to a tree, because the tree's not going to judge you?
No, a
So then
person.
let me,
I would
so
like
then,
to
so that we can
person.
just clear this up
I guess if
really
you want
fast. We can
feedback,
clear it
yeah.
up super
But, like,
quick.
genuinely,
Hang on,
like,
clear it up
talking,
super
like, with
quick.
I mean,
Hang
it's
on.
like
we-
journaling.
The thing is with telling
we can
people
totally
your
clear
business
this
and
up
what's
in
going
1
on so they
second.
can use it against
So
you.
going around with just a quick question, do you think then, going around the table one more time, that men would rather open up about their feelings to women or to other men? Show
Nick,
of
can you
hands.
take her phone?
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Do you think men would prefer to open up to other men about their feelings or to women about their feelings?
Honestly,
Going
women.
around the table.
I'm still saying women.
I'm gonna say women.
I say women, and I have some interesting statistics on that.
Okay.
Hold on, keep going.
Men probably. I don't know.
Probably women.
If they're married women, but men, usually friends.
Probably men because they can relate to what they're saying. Women usually aren't able to.
Andrew, I do want to move this on pretty
Okay.
soon here, but do you want to finish up?
No, I'm just going to let that stand.
Okay.
Well,
Now,
yeah.
last thing on the bear thing, I do actually want to ask the question. So, what percentage of men, those of you who answered bear, what percentage of men do you think, in the circumstances provided, would choose to victimize you? Starting with you. Go ahead.
What percentage of men?
Right, because so if it were in the United States, it's a random man. That's half the population. I don't know, how much is that, 160 million men?
You're asking what percentage of them would choose to victimize?
Right.